fees. An Empire fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
A cold morning will lead to a chilly afternoon as we only top out at around 44 for the high. North winds at around 10 to 15 will be mainly clear and cold again tonight with a low of around 20. We start to warm things up as we head into the middle of the work week, a high tomorrow of around 59. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into another edition of Outside the Box, being brought to you by Raising Cane's here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Joel Norman alongside the head coach of the Lincoln Stars, Rocky Russo. We're talking Stars hockey, and lately, if you're talking about the Stars, you're talking about wins and plenty of goals right now. Rocky, 18 goals in the last 3 games. We're going to keep saying that until it gets even higher here pretty soon, and 3 straight wins. You can't talk about this team without talking about the offense, and I think the talent that's been displayed. Obviously, it's very early in the season, and the offense is typically ahead of defense in a lot of ways at this time, but you've got to be thrilled with how things have gone so far.
Yeah, of course. It's 6 games. It's a small sample size. We don't want to put the cart before the horse, but there's a lot of things that if you're a fan of this team right now, or you're a part of our staff, you like what you see early on. Our guys are buying into that culture that we're trying to create, and they're pushing each other and creating competition in practice every day. They really like being around each other, which is, always a challenge with a new group. They haven't had a whole lot of time to mesh together, but in the short time that they've been together, they've seemed to develop some good relationships. And so, I attribute that to great leadership. Obviously, we named our captains last week, and Mason Marcellus is our captain. Antonio Fernandez, Doug Grimes, Boston Buckberger, all junior hockey veterans, guys that have been around, guys that understand what it takes to win, and they're really setting the tone. But our message in our room is leaders amongst leaders, and so there's a lot of guys in that room that received captain's votes, which I thought was really special. And you had Keaton Peters get some votes, and Raf some veteran players, but then Cameron Whitehead gets some votes. Danny Sambuco gets some votes. Like DJ Hart got a bunch of votes. So guys that are not wearing letters, but are definitely contributing to the leadership of this club. is really encouraging from my seat.
It's really cool that you bring that up as well, because when I talked to all four of the guys who were given letters, one of the things they talked about with me is, yeah, I'm wearing a letter, but I can learn a lot from what my teammates do, and I can learn how to be a leader from what they need from me as well. And I thought that said a lot about their maturity.
Yeah, I had a talk with those guys, and I think the veteran guys are at least, they have a leg up because they got to learn from Dalton Norris and Joe LeMay and Aiden Thompson last year. And so they saw good leadership. Those guys are good leaders. Dalton Norris is one of the very best captains I've ever had the privilege to coach. And so their experience with those guys is certainly going to go a long way. And then, they understand how important our culture is. They understand how important everybody pulling in the right direction is. And so they value the leadership that other guys in the room can bring. And last year, obviously, we had the three guys wearing letters, but there were so many guys that brought leadership. Lucas Wall and Caden Emberko and Carter Shade. And I could go on, but those guys were leaders amongst leaders. And so that was a great learning experience for the guys that are now in control.
We mentioned it being a good weekend for the Stars, a pair of 6-3 wins against the Tri-City Storm. First, it was last Friday at the Icebox, and then the same kind of score, but a different type of game last Saturday. Rocky, we saw, it was interesting how both games played out, because the first period of the first game last Friday combined 6 goals between the two teams. The offense was out and ready to go. You guys had that crazy stretch, scoring 3 goals in just under a 3-minute span at one point of the first period to score the game's first 3 goals. And then the game got a little bit closer after that as Tri-City scored a couple of goals to bring it to a 3-2 game at the 17:48 mark of the first. But you and I talked about this after the game Friday. That goal by Mason Marcellus in the final minute I felt like helped reset you guys in that game. Talk to me about how that game could have gone the other way, maybe if you don't get that insurance goal to end the first period last Friday.
There's a really big learning opportunity for us. We jump out on them early. We're up 3-0. They've got a kid in the net who's never played in the USHL before. We have an opportunity to just step on them and finish that game early. And instead, we took a deep breath and we took a step back, and we gave them life. And they're too good of a team. You can't give anybody in this league an inch. And when you give a team like Tri-City, which is so talented, some space and make some mistakes in your own end, they're going to capitalize. And, as quickly as that 3-0 lead was there, it evaporated into a 3-2 1-goal game. And, fortunately, Mason scores 4-on-4 late in the period. But I talked to the guys about the mistake that we made there by letting off the gas a little bit. And the funny part is I can say it because I did during the media timeout. But until they experience it, they don't really get it. And so it takes some failure. It takes learning about hard things and adversity in order to truly understand them. So I'm glad we were able to go through that. I'm glad we were able to win a game, obviously. But if we don't score that goal at the end of the first period, you're in the locker room 3-2. You're still feeling good about yourself, but you're going, man, we had a chance to end this game, and we let that slip away.
Still were able to chase Nicholas Erickson, who you mentioned was playing in his first USHL game. He faced 12 shots, gave up 4 goals on that time. And, the man in the net changed, but your success finding the back and then it really didn't change. Carlos Messargs, he came on strong for the rest of that game, but the next night you score 6 goals against him. That's a USHL veteran, but a lot of the guys who were getting it done for you guys this weekend were USHL veterans as well.
Yeah, we're getting scoring from all over our lineup, and I think that's great to see. Obviously, the expectations from 7 seconds or 14 seconds into game 1 in Pittsburgh was the Ludke line was going to score, right? And they've done a really nice job. Obviously, statistically, you look and Mason's got 11 points or something, and I think Tanner has 8, Doug has 7. Those guys are doing a great job, but you're getting scoring from up and down our forward line. You're getting contributions from the back end, and Antonio scores a goal in his second game back this weekend. And so when you have that much depth, it's really challenging as an opposing coach, because you don't know who to match your best defensive line up against with. You don't know who to get your top 4 D out against, because you get your third pair of D out there and your third or fourth line against our third line, and you're in a bit of trouble because you're going out against whoever it may be, whether it's Peters, Larrigan and Raff, or maybe it's the Messick line. Obviously, Clavs wasn't in this weekend, but Messick was doing a great job, and Sambuco and those guys. So, it's tough to deal with top to bottom up front. We have a lot, and they're all willing to contribute. They're all willing to play 200 feet, and that's what's bringing on a lot of our early success.
Off and running here on Outside the Box. It's being brought to you by Raising Cane's. We're talking Lincoln Stars hockey after they picked up a pair of 6-3 victories last weekend over the Tri-City Storm, team who they had some trouble with last year. So to get 2 wins against them early on in the season, gigantic, and to kind of get off and running. The Stars are at home this weekend on Saturday night. They're going to be taking on the Des Moines Buccaneers at 6:05 p.m. And it is Princess and Girls Night at the Icebox. And the best way to enjoy that game is going to be with a McDonald's Princess package. You get 4 tickets and 2 tiaras for $65. And you can get your package now or any single game tickets at LincolnStars.com. Rocky, you brought up Clavs Weinbergs. Obviously, he suffered an injury on Friday, but you mentioned that Michael Messick did a nice job stepping in. He had been playing on the wing with Clavs, kind of moved over to that center position. How nice is it? You have a couple of players like that. Jared Mannion's another one. We've seen him on the wing as well. How nice is that to kind of have those Swiss Army knife options who can play wing and play center?
Yeah, I mean, Brennan Ali is a natural center, and so we've got guys. Mason Marcellus is a natural center, and he played center for over half the year last year until he ended up on the line with Aiden Thompson and Lucas Wallen. So I think the reality of it is all these guys are the best players on their team growing up, and youth hockey players take the best player and they just put him in the middle. They play center, but not everybody understands what the role of an actual center is when you get to the higher levels of hockey. And so being able to defend in your own end, being responsible and underneath pucks as you're breaking pucks out, understanding that you're going to be maybe late into the zone because you're traveling the furthest when it comes to entering the offensive zone, taking care of the face-off dot, being responsible for making sure everyone's on the same page with what you're doing on your draws. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. And for us to have so many guys that are capable and can not only go in and take a face-off, but can defend and do the actual hard things that are necessary from a center makes it very nice for us. Now, all those guys want to play center because they're comfortable in the middle, but they understand that we only have 4 of them on any given night. And so Keaton Peters has played a lot of wing for us. He played a lot of wing last year. He's comfortable, but he's doing a great job in the middle. You've seen Messick play both this year. You've seen Mangan play both. You see Ali in the face-off dot a lot. Tanner has even played a fair amount of wing, and now he's playing center pretty regularly for us. So that enables my line combinations to really start to expand when we talk about who's going to play here and there. I like Michael Messick in the middle, and I like what he brings when he's distributing pucks from the middle of the ice, but I like what he can bring as a winger too. So a lot of that stuff will sort itself out over the next 20, 25 games, and guys will kind of organically find their way into a natural position. And then from there, it'll be dependent on, availability. Guys that are injured, suspended, what have you, will prompt guys to move from one wing or to the other, or maybe into the middle.
It's a good problem to have, a lot of depth. Right now, a lot of guys who can play a lot of different positions, and that extends to the blue line. We saw that with Antonio Fernandez drawing back into the lineup right away. He scores a goal in game number 2. And you and I were talking about how the first night you had him paired with Cole Krusberg-Rosine. You changed that up a little bit the next night, I saw. But the depth of the team right now is, I think, one of my favorite parts about this early stretch of the season. Because, like you said, you are still figuring a lot of things out. But I think it's nice that you have the options to try some different things out a little bit as well. Taking on Des Moines this weekend, as we mentioned, just one game once again. This is the last time, if I'm not mistaken, for the rest of the regular season where it's just a one-game weekend, but you're taking on a team you haven't faced yet. Some of these teams you have seen to this point. Des Moines is, right now, they've gone off to a slower start, I think, than they would have liked, But obviously, I think it's easy for us to say that with how the Stars have started leading the Western Conference. You've done a little bit of prep on them. What are you seeing that stands out about the Buccaneers?
They're a good club. There's no doubt about it. On any given night, you can get beat by any team in this league. The separation between the top teams and the quote unquote statistically bottom teams is so minimal. It's unbelievable. And if you're not on top of your game and taking advantage of that slight separation, then you've evened the score and it's a coin flip. And Des Moines has good goaltending. They've got some experienced veteran forwards. They brought in some quality younger players, and they're certainly a team that will pose a challenge for us on Saturday night.
If you want to get a part of this show here on the Outside the Box, you can give us a call on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685, or you can text us on that same line, the Sartor Hammond text line, 402-464-5685 here on Outside the Box. Rocky, I brought this up, the 6 goals in 3 straight games, so 18 goals over the last 3. I dove into this a little bit, so I realized today that it's only happened 4 times since 2002 when the USHL became a Tier 1 league that the Stars have done that. The longest stretch the Stars have done that in was 7 consecutive games. So
oh dear,
a few more games to work on to get to that point. A couple more.
What was that, like 96?
Now,
like
that
first year?
That was February 17th through March 10th of 2007.
Okay.
So not 13 years ago, I guess, at this point. But, that's a few games away, but a little bit of work, obviously, to get to that point. But the 4th time in franchise history since 2002 that it's happened, though. So that's got to be nice. You talked to me. I mean, I'm still seeing a lot of stuff. One of the things you talked to me about was your kind of teams were going to be a blue-collar identity type of team. What does it mean, though, when you're getting goals at this higher rate? Does it change any bit of your approach, or is it more of a luxury that this is happening as well?
Oh, nothing changes. And we actually had that conversation this morning. We watched a really cool video about making sure that you understand your goals and what you're trying to accomplish, and having finite goals and infinite goals, and understanding what those differences are. And so for us, we need to play the same way regardless of the situation and circumstance, whether we're up 3 goals, down 3 goals, first period, third period, first game of the weekend, third game of the weekend, doesn't matter. Our identity is hard work, 200 feet, compete, finish our checks, touch pucks first, be hard to play against, defend, move our feet, create offense, transition fast, get in your face. And that identity is the only way that we have success. And it needs to be an all the time thing. It cannot be a sometimes thing for a championship caliber club. And so that's how we practice. That's our mentality with everything we do. And the goals partially come because of that mentality and that approach. And there's going to be games when we have to win 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-2. Can I calmly say we won't score 6 every game? Yeah. My daughter has gotten in the habit of predicting how many goals we're going to score in a game. And 2 games in a row, she said 8. And both we had 6. And going into the third, I'm like, we got a chance to get to 8. And we didn't score in the third period. We don't score in the third period. Like, we get all our scoring done and then we sit on our lead, which is not at all what I want, by the way. But we're working on that. And then, so this past Saturday, I was leaving to go to the bus, and I said, how many goals do you want tonight? And she said, 13.
13.
And my wife started laughing, and she's like, yeah, I don't think we're getting to 13. If we get to 13, there's going to be probably about 13 fights. And so maybe that's not the best thing. But when I came home the next day, I said, hey, on the weekend, we scored 12. So we were close to 13, and that satisfied her. So we'll see where her numbers go. But as long as she is predicting higher scores, we are scoring relatively a lot of goals every game. So I'll encourage her to keep those up in the crooked numbers.
Yeah, just because the team might only score 3 goals one night doesn't mean that's the standard anymore. We got to shoot for higher things.
Yeah, absolutely. But the reality of it is scoring in this league is very challenging. And, I'm certainly not taking for granted the fact that we've managed to score as much as we have. I think that's 4 out of our 6 games this year,
That's
we've
right.
scored 6 goals, right? We had 4 another game, and obviously the game we lost, we only scored 2. And you could see, if anybody's watched our games, the clear difference between the way we played in the game we lost versus the way we've played in the games that we've won. And so sometimes a setback is a good thing, right? You deal with some adversity, you feel some failure, and you understand, hey, like we didn't do what we needed to do to get a win tonight. And so you look at those as lessons and opportunities to learn.
We talked about, you said 4 times this year scoring 6 or more goals. By comparison, last year it happened 9 times. So you're almost halfway to that total of the 6 or more goal games. One of the things I thought about after that game Saturday was one of the best things that could probably happen coming up here would be a 2-1 Stars win, a tight, closer game. How do you kind of get the team ready? And let's say a game's going like that, it's lower scoring, but you've been lighting the lamp regularly lately. What's the message on the bench in the middle of that game, knowing it might only be 2 that gets us to win tonight?
Well, we're pretty fortunate because we've got really good goaltenders, and so both of those guys are going to keep us in games night in and night out. And I don't think we've been pretty good defensively too. If you really look at the goals we've given up, we do make the occasional transition defending mistake, which I was talking to Art about this morning, and I'm like, we were still harping on transition D in April last year. So, it's something that is really hard to get the guys to understand. And so that's how we gave one up on Saturday, and that's how we gave one up on Friday. And you just gotta understand teams in this league are so talented. You give them line rushes, you give them a chance to enter the zone with possession. It's probably not going to be great for you. They're going to get an offensive chance. And but on the other side of the coin, how many line rushes did we have that we didn't score on?
Yeah.
We had a couple really good ones on Friday where we hit the seam and hit a one-timer, and their goalie made some saves. And so, they're going to go both directions. It's who can finish a few extra ones that'll be the difference.
That second period stretch on Saturday was something that was interesting to me, because I'd say for the over half of that game between Tri-City and the Stars, it was a tight game. It was only 2-1 thanks to 2 goals from Tanner Ludke in the first. That second period felt like it was just back and forth for a bit until you guys just kind of caught fire late in the period. Have you ever had a game where you've scored 3 goals in like a minute 34 before, or less than that, whether you played, coached? I mean, because that was chaotic.
Yeah, I have.
You have?
I have. A playoff game back in 2010, we were down 5-1 with 6 minutes left, and we scored 5 goals in 3.5 minutes and won 6-5. And that was a game 5 to get to the national tournament. So, I've seen some things. Coincidentally, championship game in 2017 or 18, we're up 5-3 with a minute and a half left, and the other team scores twice, ties it up, beats us in overtime. Game 5 championship series. So, I've been on both sides of it, and as much as momentum, we want to talk about how it's not a thing. Momentum is a thing from a mental perspective, right? Because a team starts to doubt themselves, and Tri-City is kind of known for their ability to jump on you and then boom, boom, boom. And they did that a lot last year. And we got to the point where I remember the last time we went in there, I'm talking to George, and I'm like, George, we just got to hang on till the media timeout. If we can get to the media timeout, then the game can kind of be even. But if they score on you in the first 2 or 3 minutes, like, they're going to pot 3 more before you bat an eye. And that's kind of the mentality that we've been trying to teach our guys, is feel that ebb and flow in a game, feel that momentum shift, and take advantage of it, because it's not going to last all that long. So the more you can press during that momentum shift, if you can get 2 in those 3 to 5 minutes, that's huge. Obviously, we're playing with the house's money when we're scoring 3 or 4 in that time frame, but we've been able to do that a couple times, but you can't rely on that either, right? You got to know that, hey, if you get 1, it's hard enough to get 1. We can't just expect the next one to come, but you got to really get in there and work if you want to try to generate some more chances right away.
And Saturday's game, right after that second period ended. That third period got a little bit chippier, but I thought, you guys did a good job kind of staying focused too. We talked about sometimes that third period scoring hasn't been there. You got a goal in the third period, and you kind of kept everything calm enough as well.
Well, when you play 6 consecutive periods against anybody, it's going to get a little chippy, and it was terrible, just terrible to see Dane Doyak get punched in the face. I felt so bad for him. I'm rolling my eyes in case nobody knows. But it was really, it was good to see our guys stand up for themselves, and we ended up on a power play there because Doyak started it, and he got punched in the mouth by Hagen Mo for his efforts. So probably a tough way to end his evening. But I love the way that our guys defended themselves and stuck up for each other. And fighting is a part of the game. Obviously, we don't fight nearly as much as we did 10, 15, 20 years ago, but it's still there when it needs to be there. And I think it self-polices the game a little bit. And you could kind of feel that game getting a little bit out of control. And the referee kind of was like, oh, I'm going to start giving guys 10-minute misconducts. And my answer was, why don't you stop calling coincidental penalties? You call one on this team or that team. That will stop some of this too, but was a little bit too far out of his reach at that time. And the fans that were there got to watch a little scrum, which is cool.
Like you said, 6 periods in a row against the same team, it's going to add up a little bit. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we will have Jared Mangan and Brendan Ali joining us here. This is Outside the Box, brought to you by Raising Cane's on 93.7 The Ticket.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hey dude, can I have the aux cord?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, do you want to play some games?
What? No, stop. I'm trying to drive.
Dude, Aaron wants to know what you're doing on Friday.
Okay, I'll talk to him later. I'm driving right now.
Did you see this thing on Facebook?
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I gotta put you on Do Not Disturb.
Wait.
It's hard to drive with a bad passenger, so don't let your phone be one. Visit drivesmartany.org for more information. Brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit AMPMidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Starter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. StarterHeyman.com.
Tractor Supply is looking for full-time team members for their Waverly Distribution Center. Applicants can expect a 3- and 4-day work week schedule with additional overtime days with both day and night shift schedules available. Stand-up forklift and high-reach forklift experience is a plus for open positions, but they're willing to train for those without experience. At Tractor Supply, they work hard, have fun, and make money. Apply today at tractorsupply.jobs.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
The days of internet contracts and heavy fine print are over. It's time to experience hassle-free service with no contracts or hidden fees. That's the Allo promise. Allo Communications provides fiber internet, TV, and phone services with fair and no-nonsense pricing. all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 local support 365 days a year, and a monthly bill you can count on. Don't settle for gimmicks. Settle for hassle-free with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/hassle-free.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer two of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room, located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, and much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Outside the Box, being brought to you by Raising Cane's here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Joel Norman, head coach of the Lincoln Stars. Rocky Russo was with us in the first segment, and in a moment we're going to be joined by forwards Jared Mangan and Brennan Ali. But just a reminder, the Stars are back in action this Saturday against the Des Moines Buccaneers at 6:05 p.m., and it's Princess and Girls Night at the Icebox. The best way to enjoy that game is going to be with a McDonald's Princess package. You get 4 tickets and 2 tiaras for $65. So you can get your package now at LincolnStars.com. And don't forget, the Stars are not in action on Friday night, but you can still have a good night at the Icebox as it's couples night from 6 to 8 p.m. Admission includes 2 hours of ice skating, skate rental, dinner, drinks, and a movie. And you can get more information by emailing harrison@LincolnStars.com. So as I mentioned, we welcome in Jared Mangan and Brennan Ali to the show. Radio debuts for both. Let the record show. But guys, a great weekend for the Stars. Both 6-3 wins last Friday and Saturday against Tri-City. That had to feel pretty good. Having that kind of success against a team who had as much success as they did as the Storm last year. Let's simplify things though. What was the biggest reason besides scoring a lot of goals for why you guys won this weekend? I'll start with you, Brennan.
I think we really just we pre-scouted them. We knew what they were doing well, and I think we were getting pucks on net. We were, like the week before, we weren't getting a lot of pucks on net, getting them low, and then we buried our opportunities. And then whenever we got chances, we buried them. So I think we were able to get out early against Tri-City, and that really helped us. And then once we got up on them, it was really just preventing them from scoring and sticking to the habits we have during practice and games.
Jared, obviously you scored in both games. Big reason for the success both nights were some kind of hot stretches you guys had. How cool is that when you guys are kind of in the middle of that? You contributed to that on Saturday's game as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We had a great team. So, I think I heard Rocky talking in the other room, but I think, like he said, everyone on the team produces. Up and down the lineup, everyone's getting points, everyone's producing. And it's obviously, everyone will get points, if we win by 6. But, there's going to be games where, it's going to be close games. But at the end of the day, I still think those points are going to come from anyone in the lineup. We got a really good team.
One of the fun things I enjoyed when I was talking with Rocky before you guys came on is we were talking about how there's so many of you forwards who can play center and a wing. And I brought up you, Jared, and then he brought you up, Brendan, as well. Talk to me about what that's like. Do you prefer center over wing, or are there nights you kind of would rather be a winger than a center?
I mean, yeah, Rocky started me off at wing, and ever since I've enjoyed it. I mean, I think I really try to use my speed to my game, so I can, enter the zone fast and get behind their D. And then, be hard on the forecheck as well. So, I mean, I think it's good to learn wing and no center because you can be versatile and you play that in college. You never know where they want you, or in the pros, you never know where they want you. So, I think it's really smart to know every position. And yeah, I mean, I think I've gotten a lot of chances at wing, so I've enjoyed it.
Jared, how about you?
I mean, I definitely agree with what he said about the college. Like, it's good to know both. Like, you never know if you only play center and you get to college, you're like, we want you to play wing. You're not like going to be like nervous. Like, you already played wing before. I agree with that, like, completely.
Explain to fans the biggest difference between playing a wing and playing center. I think the casual fan's going to go, well, obviously the center takes faceoffs, but what are some other like responsibilities you have as a center that differs from as a winger?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, yeah, like you said, obviously the faceoffs, and then you got to stay below the play. It's a lot more defensive as a winger in the D zone. You kind of just stay on the D man up top. So whenever the puck's low, you're kind of just not doing as much, and the center's all over the zone, and they kind of got to be more passive and pick their times when to attack. But yeah, they need to be more passive for sure.
Jared, what are some things you do a little bit differently when you're at center compared to wing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at center, I feel like I could see the ice more. Like you're in the middle, so like you see left or right. Like when you're on wing, you're kind of like just seeing one part of the ice and the other part of the ice. But on center, like you kind of quarterback it, like going up the ice. Like other than the D, it's like you and the D kind of working together to quarterback up the ice into the offensive zone.
Let's talk about your guys' performances this weekend. Brendan, I'll begin with you. You had the 2 goals and an assist on Friday night. I think any fan who's watching you closely notices that speed is a big part of your game. Talk to me about how you kind of can create your own rushes. There's been a couple of times where I'll see the defenseman kind of drop the puck off and let you take it into the zone.
Yeah, I mean, I really have been focusing on that over the past couple of years. Obviously, like lifting weights and whatnot, and off-season stuff. I've been focusing on speed, and then obviously trying to work the puck wide around the D. I'm trying to get better at that, and yeah, I mean it's showed sometimes, and I still got a lot of work to do, I'd say, with that. But yeah, I mean it's good.
Jared, you had a goal both Friday and Saturday. The one on Friday stood out to me a little bit more. It didn't look like you had much of an angle on that cross-ice pass from Keaton Peters. I liked watching I watched that replay a couple of times because Keaton was just holding the puck in the corner to the left of the net. And then he kind of waited for you. You started to come into the faceoff circle. Then you kind of saw what he was thinking. You went back to the blue line. You made your run toward the net. That was a nice little run, but the shot was even better. How'd you get that puck through? There was hardly an angle on any replay we saw.
I mean, yeah, definitely just squirted in, but it was an unreal pass by Keats there. And I saw him in the corner. I was like, I thought he was going to pass it up to D, then go over to me, and then he's kind of held it. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go to the net. Like, he'll find me back door.
How does that communication work? Is that just is it a head nod? Is it something like just you guys knowing each other well enough? You're knowing, okay, he wants me to go on a run here?
I think it's just like the more we've been practicing, the more like in the locker room, just like the more connected we get, like the more like you know what someone else is going to do, like in practice, like you see like their habits, and like I think we just got a good connection. I got a good connection with everybody on the team, and like the whole team is really like tight knit, and that helps when you're like in situations like that.
I had to be really nice too this weekend. First road game since the games in Pittsburgh about a month ago. You guys went on the road. It's got to be nice to have those bus trips every once in a while, especially when it's under how long was that to Pittsburgh? That was
like 16.
Yeah, something like that. That was a little more. So just a 2-hour trip doing the Tri-City a little bit easier. How nice was that to get on the bus for you guys? You got to enjoy parts of that, especially after a 4-point weekend.
Yeah, I mean that was a lot of fun. Obviously, after a game, it's a great time sweeping Tri-City, and then we had some singing going along in the bus. So we had all the rookies doing some singing and whatnot. And I forgot exactly what song I had to do. So I'm a rookie and I had to sing a Pitbull song. Looked at the lyrics on Spotify in front of the whole team. It was a great time though.
Jared, who had the best voice on the team?
Selfishly, I would say me. But
what was your song? I don't know if I remember that. I don't know your voice is well enough yet.
I did like kind of like a low, like kind of love song.
Okay.
A little trying to give it to the boys a little bit, but I'd say Sparksy was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure who was there. To me, there wasn't anyone who particularly stood out. No offense to you guys, but that's why you're hockey players instead, of course. But it had to be nice. I mean, you guys get a road trip like that. Obviously, it's a lot better to come back after a win and an emotional win because of how that game turned out. It got a little bit chippy. I talked about this with Rocky in the third period. How'd you guys kind of keep your cool that night? Obviously, you see a team for 6 periods over a 24-hour span. You're going to get frustrated. How do you keep your cool in a game you've got in control and you don't let it spiral out of control?
I was feeling a little bit. I drew a high sticking penalty, and I was obviously after the whistles and stuff, they're trying to hit you. So I think you just focus on the fact that you're winning the game, and if you take retaliatory penalties, that'll give them a chance to come back and score on the power play and whatnot. So just being focused and staying calm and not buying into their type of stuff, and just being focused for sure.
Jared, a situation like that, it's easy for things to unravel. Is it one of those things you almost I see guys do, it's almost like they laugh it off when the other team tries to start something. Do you kind of do that, or what do you do?
I kind of laugh it off a little bit, like just kind of, it's not really my game either. I try to get a little physical and be physical at times for the guys and stand up for like my teammates and stuff. But just keeping your cool, just laugh at them. We're winning. What's there to do?
Hagen Mo ended up dropping the gloves on Saturday. Rocky said it was a good fight. He got some good whacks in. We haven't really seen a ton of fights. We saw a few in the preseason, which was exciting. I think it made those games a little juicier. Give me your guys' feedback on how Hagen did that fight. Would you have done a few things differently, or was it just did he do a pretty good job?
I think he did a great job. I mean, he got a stick to the back of the head. So, I probably would have done the same thing if that happens. He didn't seem too happy, and you're going to defend yourself. So, he did the right thing and he won that fight. So, it was really fun to watch, especially when you're winning as well and you're sweeping them. So, it was a good time. It
Jared,
was fun to watch.
What were your thoughts on his fight, Jared?
I thought he did unbelievable. Great job. I think at the end too, he smushed his face in the ice too, rubbing it in the snow, which is pretty good. I like that.
Have either of you two been in a fight at the junior level? And if so, did you win it, or have you had a lot? You don't remember all of them?
Yeah, I had one preseason. I think it was
right.
First game against Tri-City, actually. We had 3 fights that game, and it was kind of crazy because it's, preseason and whatnot. But I fought some kid, and he I didn't really want to go that bad because, I'm like, it's preseason game. He catches me with one punch, and then I kind of lost it. And I won that fight for sure. And, you kind of black out when that's going on. So, good experience, I guess. You want to defend yourself, but I'm not a fighting type of player. But if somebody's going to come at me, I'm not afraid to fight. So.
Jared, I've lost track of all the preseason fights clearly because I forgot Brennan wasn't. Were you in one as well or not?
I was not in one.
Okay.
I agree with Brennan on what he said though. He definitely won that. Kind of killed him, but
that first game of the preseason was wild. I had arrived in town the day before, so I was still trying to remember who was who numbers wise, and I kept thinking, is this what the USHL is? We're just gonna fight, every night now, at least once or twice. And I'm not saying I would mind it if it was the case, but obviously it hasn't been. Let me ask you guys about that. What's your thoughts on fighting in the game in general? Obviously, at the NHL level, it's toned down a lot. I've always been of the opinion, I think there's a place for it. If it's for, if one of your teammates gets a bad hit, you've got to answer the bell. That guy's got to answer. Someone's got to go get him. For the most part, though, I see why people don't want them. What's your take on something like that?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get away from the game and doesn't disrupt the game and the skill and whatnot, and it's just not a goon fest out there, and it's still entertaining to watch, then I think it's a great piece to it. And like you said, if somebody gets hurt, it's good to stand up for your teammates. And people make a living doing that in the NHL and whatnot, just being intimidating. But I think, how much there is right now is a good amount. Not too much and, not too little. Just got to stay like that. Yeah.
I think the one thing I remember from early in the season was the second game in Pittsburgh. Patrick Raftery took a big hit in that first period, and it didn't end up being a fight, but Jack Sparks was ready to go fight. I mean, I'm sure I was right in front of your bench. You guys clearly remember that. I mean, I remember thinking that was a momentum shifter. Even though he didn't get into a fight, the fact that he made a beeline over there, and then clearly it showed with how the rest of that game went, the 6-0 shutout victory. We're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to have more in just a moment here on Outside the Box, being brought to you by Raising Cane's. I'm Joel Norman, Jared Mangan, and Brennan Ali with me. We'll be back on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer two of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room, located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
The Lincoln Chamber of Commerce is excited to showcase and celebrate our local businesses. Make plans to attend this year's Lincoln Expo on Wednesday, October 19th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Be sure to take time to network and check out the interactive booths from area businesses. Lincoln's Craft Beer Tour returns, plus great door prizes and a free Lincoln t-shirt just for you while supplies last. Admission is free, so make sure to stop by PBA on October 19th. Shop local at the 2022 Lincoln Expo.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Hey dude, can I have the aux cord?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, do you want to play some games?
What? No, stop. I'm trying to drive.
Dude, Aaron wants to know what you're doing on Friday.
Okay, I'll talk to him later. I'm driving right now.
Did you see this thing on Facebook?
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I gotta put you on Do Not Disturb.
Wait.
It's hard to drive with a bad passenger, so don't let your phone be one. Visit drivesmartany.org for more information. Brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum. People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at nebraskaautodetail.com.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. Right now, they have tons of fall seasonals and Oktoberfest beers, and you can check out their First Street Brewing and Lucky Bucket selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Outside the Box, being brought to you by Raising Cane's here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Joel Norman, joined by Lincoln Stars forwards Brennan Ali and Jared Mangan ahead of the Saturday's game, taking on Des Moines. And, guys, I talked about this with Rocky, and I'm going to beat this into the dirt until this streak ends. You guys have had 3 straight games scoring 6 goals in them. I want to see if you guys can guess what the Stars' record for most consecutive games with 6 or more goals scored in them is.
I think 8.
8? That's a good guess.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I heard you.
You heard me say it.
I think it's 7.
It is 7. That's less exciting then. Yeah, it happened 7 times, February 17th through March 10th, and that was that was 2007. That was 2007 that happened. That was 47 goals.
That's
7
crazy.
consecutive wins.
That is crazy.
And obviously they won every game too. So no pressure. You guys have 4 games away from matching that total. So, we're going to add this team into those record books. No, I'm kidding, of course. But either way, it's been nice how the offense has shown up so far. And it's not like you guys are scoring a lot and giving up a lot. You're scoring a lot and you're playing pretty well defensively. It feels like you look at this past weekend. The 2 goals given up the third period on Saturday, game for all intents and purposes was over by that point. Talk to me about your response, how you guys are feeling about, you're getting it done scoring, but you're still being really responsible defensively.
Yeah, I think the first game where we scored 6 goals against Omaha, we were kind of in shock of what was happening. So that
and everyone at the ice box.
Yeah, we were all kind of in shock. We were like, oh sweet, we're like, our team can do this. So yeah, Rocky was saying, dial it in defensively, play your roles and whatnot. And then I think the Tri-City game when we scored 6 goals like Saturday, the second time, I think that was more like we were more used to it. So we knew exactly what to do, play defensive and still try to score your opportunities and whatnot when you get them, but like play solely defensive and then, see where it takes you.
So, Jared, Brendan's saying that the standard is now 6. So if you guys score 5 on Saturday, is Rocky going to be upset? Is he going to be saying, why aren't we getting to 6?
I think as long as we're winning, he'll be happy.
Yeah. What do you guys think? How's this going to translate to a tighter game, though? These last 3 games really have not been too tight. We can say half of Saturday's game against Tri-City was a tight game until you scored 3 goals in a minute 34. How do you guys translate that to a closer game? Because the closest game we've seen this season was a great game, the home opener against Sioux Falls, but it was a 3-2 loss. What's your response when you get into a game like that? I'll start with you, Jared.
I feel like it translates like just as it would in a blowout game. Like we're playing hard. Like I think Rocky preaches like play fast back, and then you could play fast offensively.
So, Brennan?
Yeah, I think we just take it every game like it's a 0-0 game, no matter what. We say it after every period, like win that period and then move on. It's a 0-0 game, win that period. So if you just keep winning your periods and not looking at the scoreboard really, just living in the moment and just focusing on how the bench is and how the team's playing right then and there.
Let's talk about your time in Lincoln for both of you. Brendan, you got a little bit of action last year. Jared, first year with the team. What's I always love asking guys where they like to eat. One, because it helps me out because I'm new here as well. So, Brendan, I'll start with you. What's a place you really like to go? What's the go-to place for eating?
Go-to. I have a couple. I mean, I probably most often go to Chipotle, but my favorite has got to be Blaze or Panda.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jared, I thought you were saying before you were a big fan of Panda as well. Is that the
I was a big
go-to
fan
in
of-
Lincoln?
Yeah, Blaze and Panda are my go-tos. If I'm not eating those, I'm bringing food. But a couple of the guys on the team rip me when I go to Blaze because I would get I'll split the pizza in half and do half barbecue sauce, half regular, and they don't like it. But
Wow. That's different.
Yeah, it is a
They're
little
doing it on the
different.
same pizza.
Yeah.
But I've heard great things about Blaze. I've never had that. I love pizza, so I'm sure that's good. Barbecue though. That's
yeah,
okay.
so I told them put barbecue sauce on the bottom, instead of the red sauce, and then cheese, and then chicken. So it's like a barbecue chicken pizza.
I think we could tolerate that. That's fair.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Let's talk about Des Moines this weekend. The team you guys haven't seen yet. It's early in the week. You're still getting time to kind of prep. What's one thing you guys are really honing on, something that you have to do this week? I'll start with you, Brennan.
I mean, just playing fast, how we have been playing. Not read too much into the standings and whatnot and where they are. Just take them like they're another opponent. And just just dialing it in during practice. Really just playing hard during practice. So we're gonna be ready for the game this weekend.
Jared, what's one thing you think you guys got to hone in on?
I think if we hone in on face-offs, we'll be really good. I think our face-offs are a little 50-50, and sometimes they dominated us. But if we do that, we'll be really good.
I saw you after practice today, actually working on face-offs a little bit more. What's something you're trying to improve with your face-off game specifically?
I'd say I took Keats aside because he's a righty. I want to work on my face-offs with righties because I feel like doing the same hand is easier than doing opposite hand against an opponent. So it's kind of something that I want to work on.
It's an interesting point, actually, because your sticks are going to be you're going to have to move a certain way if it's, because you're a left-handed shooter, you're going up against a righty. So it's easier if it's lefty versus lefty.
Yeah, I feel that's just my opinion, but.
Makes sense. Well, guys, thank you for joining us here very much. We appreciate having you on, and let's get some more goals this week. Let's keep it rolling.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Brendan Ali and Jared Mangan joining us here. As you mentioned, the Lincoln Stars taking on the Des Moines Buccaneers this Saturday. Princess and Girls Night at the Icebox, a 6:05 p.m. puck drop. Don't forget, we've got the McDonald's Princess packages still for sale. 4 tickets, 2 tiaras for $65. You can get those at LincolnStars.com. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. It's been another edition of Outside the Box being brought to you by Raising Cane's here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, dude, can I have the aux cord?
Yeah, sure.
Hey,